Hi folks, major action in the silver markets, lots of stuff happening, price shocks, paper silver markets, national debt, new milestone. There's so much stuff to talk about and we're gonna cover it here in this video. Stay tuned to see what's in it. Hi folks, it's Silver Dave at local Silver Mint in Ware, New Hampshire, where we have the best selection and the lowest prices on the most wonderful silver and gold items from all around the world. And we also bring you these informative videos talking about silver markets, data, and various pertinent information relating to precious metals. And boy, have we got some stuff for you today. Wow, there is so much stuff to talk about. Man, oh man. All right, so we're gonna get right into this. And so first off, if you are a silver stacker, you probably have noticed that the silver price has done some big jumps, and platinum have done some big jumps in the past few days. Yesterday morning, Thursday, June 5th, we saw the silver price had exceeded $36 per ounce and platinum rapidly approaching $1,200. There was some pullback down to 35.5, back up to 36. Today is Friday, June 6th. Last I looked at around 10 a.m. this morning, that's what time we're filming this video. And so $36 and change per ounce on silver and platinum at around $11.60. And we happened to just buy a bunch of platinum and it worked out good. We almost rapid dumped it for just a small profit. But then my sales manager, Mike, was like, no, Dave, we should sit on this platinum and sell it for the full price or sit on it longer rather than rapid dump it. And go figure, the spot price on platinum went up, almost 20% in the past week or so since we bought it. That was great. Silver price cranking. Now, what the heck's going on? Why is this happening? Well, first, there's more stuff in here to unpack. And so the fact that the silver price has went over $36 is an important benchmark for a lot of silver stackers and a lot of analysts. And that they have speculated that when the silver price was in the below 35 range, once it broke past $35, then it went into a new trend of 13-year high. The last time that the silver price went this high was around 2010, 2011, following the 2008 banking crisis, which, if you don't know, the 2008 banking crisis is nothing compared to what is now. The banks now and the mortgages and the finance stuff is 100 times worse than in 2008. And so now we're seeing a silver price at 36 following that pattern that it did in 2008, which is the last time that we saw that, as we approach 2011, was an all-time high for silver. And so now the price of goods, services, eggs, butter, much more expensive to buy those things today than in 2010. And so therefore, if, for example, the silver price was going to crank, I think it's going to go much higher than the $50 that we saw in 2011 as an all-time high. Just because back then, it was like 99 cents for a dozen eggs. It was like $1.29 for a stick of butter. Now I buy butter and it's $4.99, grass-fed, good quality, and then eggs, $4 to $8 a dozen for decent quality eggs. So everything is higher. And so if we were to see silver price crank, I think that it's going to far exceed the $50. And you've seen some of my videos. I think that the silver price could go a lot higher. And some of the numbers I've mentioned, some people cheered for it. Some people said I was crazy. Some people did both. They were like, you're crazy, but yeah, fine. So with that being said, now going back to the data, the national debt, the national debt for the United States is now at 36,950,000,000,000. We're almost at 37 trillion, folks. Do you think you could go $37 trillion in debt? It'd be pretty hard to do. You'd have to have a combination of a lot of wasteful behavior and an incredible amount of never-ending credit, like the people that are in the government seem to have for some reason. But so the fact that now we see the interest, the national debt climbing all-time highs, it's going really fast. Also, another piece of information. This one, another piece of information is that the U.S. debt clock, I've been looking at it for years, but the past 6 months or so, I've noticed it's got a lot of new stuff on it, and they took off old stuff. It looks like it's kind of a big advertisements for X now, and so. But I'm always suspicious of things, and I always try to, look into. But one of the things I noticed, and I made a video about this about 3 months ago, when I noticed it, and that was that the U.S. debt clock used to have two very important numbers on the bottom right. And those two very important numbers have been removed. Let me tell you what those numbers are. So first, those two numbers, which I think might be the most important numbers on the debt clock, and they are U.S. total national assets and U.S. unfunded liabilities. Those two numbers I have largely thought might be the most important numbers on the debt clock, but possibly the most overlooked. And those numbers have been taken off. Now, let me tell you what they were the last time I saw them on the debt clock. And that was that the U.S. total national assets, which is everything that every American owns, every government, both public and private, all the things that the government owns and the people owns, all the buildings, all the trucks, all the houses, all the bank accounts, all the investment things, all the loans, everything that every American has and the government has, all together. And it was around $210 trillion. And that was U.S. national, U.S. Total assets, U.S. national total assets. And then the other number, U.S. unfunded liabilities. That's all the programs the government has signed us up to pay for. And why are those numbers so important? Because the U.S. total national assets at around 210 trillion versus U.S. unfunded liabilities at around 239 trillion there's $39 trillion less than the U.S. unfunded liabilities. Now, let's think about that for a second. That means that if every American gave everything they had, including the government, the people, everybody gave everything they had, the people, the government, the tanks, the trucks, the houses, the cars, the bicycles, the bank accounts, every American, every baby, every mom, every dad, every general, every captain, everyone, private and public sector, gave everything they had to the banks, they still would be $29 trillion short of paying for all the things that the honest people in the government have signed us up for. That's a huge problem. Think about that. Everyone gave everything they have, everything. And it's still $29 trillion not enough. But that number has been taken off the debt clock and replaced with a bunch of supposed Doge savings. Some money to Doge savings, girl. They replaced it. So why'd they take it off? And they replaced it with some fudgical stuff Well, I've thought that it might be because either those numbers are going up or they're going to go up a lot. Either they're going to go up a lot or they just went up a lot. And I've been trying to find the data to find out what the new current US unfunded liabilities looks like. And I can't find that data anymore ever since it's come off the debt clock. But I have a feeling it's a lot higher. So with that being said, why would it go up? Because the government would have signed us up to buy something really expensive. And bear in mind, we are like the collateral for these money borrowing. We're the way that they expect to pay it off. So anything they borrow is borrowed against us, borrowed against you and your children and your grandchildren. It's wrong. But with that being said, there's a cake baking in the oven, and I don't think it's a good cake for the economy. I think things are going to be, I think it's a bad cake for the economy. But if you're a silver stacker, it might be a decent cake. It might be a cake that you may not want to eat, but you may see other people being forced to eat it, and you may have, your silver, which might be a lot better. So with that being said, now let's go over the rest of this stuff. So we talked about the debt clock been tampered with, important numbers taken off. We see the national debt reaching all-time highs. We see silver price cranking up past $36, and we see massive withdrawals of physical silver being taken out of the contracts. People are submitting to take physical delivery, and that we had largely understood that most people, when they would try to get physical delivery, as long as they would meet the criteria, they could get their silver in roughly 2 to 4 business days. We're told now it takes approximately 8 to 10 weeks. And so physical silver draining. Also, we see that the paper silver ratio, which is how many ounces of silver on paper are being sold relative to how many ounces of silver being produced, it was around 400 and change to 1 several months ago, then 380 to 1. Now it's down to 360 to 1. And I think that could have a lot to do with why the silver price is going up. Because the more paper silver that's out there, almost like the lower the silver price is going to go, because these things are directly correlated. So with that being said, I think that we may actually see that the paper silver ratio may be coming down. We may see the silver price going up. And so finally, all those things, and then we see some drama in the White House the past few days with Elon Musk and Trump. Tesla stock plummets. Is it a show? Or is it a real bro fight? Tough to say. I'm hearing a lot of different people say one or the other. I tend to think almost everything they do is a show. But some people think it's real. I think that the design of it is to look real, but to be a show. Kind of like WWF wrestling. In fact, Donald Trump was on WWF wrestling, and I saw him hit a guy with a chair and then do an elbow drop and then sit on his face or something. And the guy was like, oh, this is actually true. It was pretty funny. But so do you believe it? Is it real or fake? What I do think is I think the silver price just had a tremor. It just did a little shake before the earthquake. I think what's coming is a major, major, major price move. I'm talking about, I think that the silver price is going to places where it has never gone before. 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, call your grandpa, 80s, 90s, and 100s and beyond. What I don't know is how long it's going to take. Is it going to be days, weeks, months, or years? But I do think that's where this thing is going. And I think it's going to do a crazy spike, and then it's probably going to come back about halfway. the silver price may go to $250 and then it may pull back down to like 140. So, you know, that's possible. So I would say like I would hold. I wouldn't like run out and sell right away, but maybe you might take some profits or trade for land or things if you see fit. Right now, I think silver has a lot more to go. So with that being said, we got to watch. We got to see what happens. But I hope that you've got your ducks in a row. I hope you have your silver. And if you don't, I hope you're getting more. It's okay to buy silver at 36. It's okay to buy silver at 38. It's okay to buy silver at 42. But it's a lot better to buy it at 36. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to close off this video. I wanted to talk about these things. I'm excited. We're about to open our doors for the day. Our salesmen are back there taking phone calls and prepping the orders that people are picking up today. If you want to get some silver, you want to come in or buy it from our website or buy it from our online dealers, or if you want to call and talk to our salesmen and buy silver, maybe you want to buy our silver products, call on the phone and make an order, because then you can pay with a check or a bank wire and not pay a credit card fee. Just food for thought. But whatever you do, I hope that you keep on stacking. Folks, I'm Silver Dave, reminding you, I know I said it and I'll say it again, Silver Dave reminding you to keep on stacking. Yeah!